My name is Pascal Brullemans. I'm a French writer of theater. I wrote since 25 years, principally for adult play. And when I have a good idea, I wrote for children.
My name is Alexis Diamond. I am also a playwright. I also write opera libretti. I do work for adults and for children, and I am also a translator, and I have the very special privilege of being a Pascal Brullemans translator. And so I'm the translator of the two works that we're going to discuss today. In English, the titles are Amaryllis and Little Witch.
So for Amaryllis, at the beginning, the proposition is I want to write a fantastical comedy about grief for children. That's the start of the project, and after that I chose to make some boundary with a book I love very much. It's Dante's Inferno. So a lot of inspiration of the book come from Inferno. And for me, to mix, Dante's and children's play, for me, it's a thing really exciting. So many details in the stories, you see that about, the poetry, and some image come directly from the Dante's book. And the result of the play, it's one thing I experience is very particular, because in the play you have two characters, Amaryllis and the father. And when we see the play in an audience, a mixed audience with the children and parent and adult, you have this strange feeling, because children's following the quest of Amaryllis, and it's really funny. It's a fiction. It's an adventure, and they laugh and they have a lot of exciting. But for the adult, they get boundary with the quest of the father and feel the fear of lose his daughter, and all the grief of the father. So it's really a different experience, and I like it very much, because at the end of the play, the adult is they are crying and the children are laughing, and I like this this meeting of mixed emotion.
When I first read, so the title in French of Amaryllis is Viperine. So when I first read Viperine, I was drawn in right away, because the opening speech is by the narrator. So right away, you're not in a typical conventional play where you have characters and there's suspension of disbelief. We're brought into a storytelling world that is highly theatrical. And so basically what Pascal has done is created meta theater for children. And so right away, we're thrust into like a mystical world where there's like multiple levels of reality. There's like the real world with the father, and then there's this sort of mystical realm. And so we're not just in like theater for young audiences where you're teaching kids about theater. We're actually going beyond into a theatrical work and a theatrical world. And by this deeper evocation, the children will learn about theater, but then they'll learn so much more. So for me, this was like a very artistic work for young audiences. And so this is one of the joys for me. And also it's so funny. And then the best part is for like so I'm already drawn into the work. And then the best part is when Viperine disrupts the character of Amaryllis, in French Viperine, when she disrupts this convention that Pascal has set up with the narrator, narrating her story. And then Amaryllis looks at the narrator and says, "Why are you telling my story?" And then so Pascal sets up a convention that he then disrupts. So to me, this is just like, anyways, I love it.
In the play, children are active character, not just to be in a system. They are broke the system, and they are
exactly.
Like in the real life.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's also what I love about it, Pascal. Like you were saying, that there's the full story of the father, that he's a fully rounded character, and that and how much his suffering and his personal grief, how much has affected the daughter, and that the daughter is very aware of his emotional state, and that there's this beautiful, very, very deep parent-child relationship. And I think that's also what the audiences at all ages read into. So, and again, it's again, Pascal is playing with conventional forms of theater. So we're also in a world of narration, but we don't have a designated narrator. Rules are not assigned. So there's a narratorial voice, and then there is dialogue. It's written as a fairy tale. At the same time, it's extremely theatrical. So again, this is what drew me in. This was what was very challenging, was capturing the different sort of the narratorial voice, as well as the characters' voices, and the lines are unpunctuated, and so there's a musicality in each line, and so musicality in French is not the same as musicality in English. And so trying to be true to Pascal's intentions, but also rendering it in an English that worked, was one of the joys of the work. But again, it's being in Pascal's like theatrical universe, if I might say, his the way that he goes beyond the expectations of what theater for young audiences is, so that it's still theater, but it's more than theater for me. Or it goes, yeah.
Yeah, the result of the form I choose this time is you can do the play with one actors, or 2 or 3 or 4 actors, or a large group, because you can share the narrative part of the text of the play. So that's the point. And you can also have a distance with the suffering of the character, the principal character in the play. So for me, it's really important. It's important for me because when I especially when I wrote for a children audience, it's really important to understand why I call them to enter in the theater and listening something, because I think children's are, a great philosopher, and I need to speak with them about something they are really dealing with. And I try to find something I call in French un état d'enfance. Maybe if I translate this like, childhood state of mind or something like this. And in Little Witch, this state of mind is, what do we do when adult collapse and you are alone in front of a situation like a monster? And the other question is how the choice we made make us build us after that. And this is really important because, Little Witch have to go to live with Ogre, and she's maybe become, this special character is the wife of the ogre. And in the fairy tale, I'm very interested by, this woman who live with a man or a monster who hate children, but that's okay. That's not so, it's not a big thing. It's just, it's like a monster, but it's like that. It's not, his fault. And I'm very fascinated by this character, and I want to know how, where she come from. And this is the beginning start of, Little Witch. But in the play, she definitely not doing that. She'd not become the wife of the ogre. She's become a witch. So it's the choice she makes in the show. So that's, this. I want to ask to the children, what's you doing in this situation? Do you become the wife of the ogre, or do you fight the monster?
Yeah, it makes me think of a conversation we had when we were in Banff for when we started the translation for Little Witch, and we were talking about the idea of games and how theater or acting in French is jeu, which means game also, and how theater is a way of acting out possibilities and imagining possibilities and putting yourself in that state, like you're another use of the word state. And I think that this play, as you say, invites the children into this place where they have to make the choice along with the character.
Mm-hmm.
And they see the two paths very viscerally. And yeah, it's
And
powerful.
that's why the choice, Little Witch, she had to make a very difficult choice in the play. And that's why the choice is so difficult, because it's not, you know, in this situation in the real life, it's not easy to fight a monster. And just to be, you know, to be true with my audience, I have to put this, you know, this dramatic situation. It's really deep, but I think children understand, you know, the choice she had to make.
Absolutely. The fact that you speak to children as people,
Mm.
as equals, I think is one of the also another powerful element of the writing in both plays, is that you're not insulting their intelligence. You know, we know that
Right.
children understand a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's something you have to thinking about it. When you work for children, you have to have a reflection on, do you think childhood is a transition toward adult age, or it's a complete state? And this is the question interesting. And you know, the answer change in each, you know, society I get in contact with. So it's not the same, you know, in French Canada, in Quebec. It's not the same, you know, in France or in Belgium or in at Mexico. So the discussion is very interesting about that.
Yeah, no, it's true. Shall we give everyone a taste of the work?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting in French.
Good.
So this is the book in French, published by Emile Lanzmann in Belgium. And this is, you know, for the image of for the play in French. So, scene 13. Quand elle rentre à la cabane, le ciel est déjà clair. Épuisée par l'effort, grande sorcière va se coucher. Petite sorcière allume un feu pour réchauffer la soupe, puis attend dans le fauteuil que sa mère se réveille, caressant le chat sur ses genoux. Mais elle ne se réveille pas. Ni ce jour-là, ni le lendemain, ni le jour suivant, ni plus jamais. Le feu est éteint. Le chat gratte son bol. Petite sorcière tremble de froid. 3 coups contre la porte. Bam, bam, bam. C'est l'ogre. Comment tu t'appelles? Petite sorcière. Tu sais qui je suis? Vous êtes l'ogre. C'est bon pour les présentations. Maintenant, prends tes affaires et viens. Où m'emmenez-vous? Chez moi. Vous allez me dévorer? J'ai promis à ta mère de veiller sur toi. Je n'ai pas le choix de te protéger. Voilà, nous sommes arrivés. Où ça? Chez moi. Obéissant à ses ordres, la forêt se retire, révélant une allée menant à un château. Ah, on dirait un palais. Oui, je voulais quelque chose de plus contemporain, mais les ouvriers coûtaient une fortune, alors je les ai mangés. C'est en haut de l'escalier, ta chambre. Si tu as faim, je t'ai laissé un pâté sur la commode. Merci. J'ai aussi mis une horloge. Toi et moi, c'est mieux qu'on ne se croise pas. Je sors vers minuit et je reviens seulement au petit matin. Tu en profiteras pour faire tes affaires, manger un truc et te laver. Après, rentre dans ta chambre et tu verrouilles la porte. Tiens, je te donne la clé. Surtout ne la perds pas. J'ai jeté le double, c'était trop risqué. Maintenant, je dois y aller, salut. Seule dans la chambre, petite sorcière regarde par la lucarne. Un mince trait de lumière meurt entre les arbres. Elle caresse l'édredon en satin du lit en baldaquin et regrette le froid de la cabane au fond des bois.
So this is Little Witch, scene 13 and scene 14. By the time they get back to the shack, day has dawned. Completely worn out, Big Witch collapses into bed. Little Witch makes a fire to heat the soup, sits in the armchair, cuddles the cat on her lap, waits for her mother to wake up. But she doesn't. Not that day, or the next, or the day after that, or ever again. The fire is out. The cat scratches at her dish. Little Witch shivers with cold. 3 knocks at the door. Bam, bam, bam. It is the ogre. What's your name? Little Witch. Know who I am? You are the ogre. Enough with the introductions. Get your things and come. Where are you taking me? My place. Are you going to eat me? I promised your mother I'd look after you. I don't have any choice but to keep you. Here we are. Where? My place. Obeying his orders, the forest pulls back to reveal an avenue leading to a castle. Oh, it looks like a palace. I wanted something a little more modern, but the workers charged a fortune, so I ate them. Your room's upstairs. If you're hungry, I left a savory pie on the dresser. Thank you. I also put a clock in there. It's better if we don't see each other. I usually go out about midnight, come back before sunrise, so that's when you should eat and wash. After that, go back up to your room and lock yourself in. Here's the key. Don't lose it. I got rid of the spare. Too risky. Okay, gotta go. See you. Alone in the room, Little Witch looks out the small window. A single ray of light is dying between the trees. She strokes the satin quilt on the canopy bed, missing most terribly the cold shack in the deep, dark wood.
Bravo.
Merci. Merci, Pascal.
À chaque fois, it's so interesting to listening you and discover the word in the other language. It's like, like a gift. Really.
Oh, it's so great. It's really fun hearing you read in French and then seeing how hard we work to get the musicality and the rhythm and the intonation. Like, it's very satisfying to do this.
Thank you really much.
Thank you.